Going. How are you, Mugs? Yasir, I'm absolutely brilliant. How are you, mates? Hello, everyone on YouTube as well. We're live for FPL Game Week 32. What a big game week this is going to be. The wildcard's active. I just can't wait for this. Who to captain this week? Bruno Fernandes is the guy. Bowen second, Haaland third. I think that's the order for this game week. I really do. Let's just get everything set so you can see yourselves on chat on screen. What should I do if I have all chips? I actually think that the most optimal strategy you can go for this week is Game Week 32 wildcards. Next week, Game Week 33, the double game week bench boost, followed by free hit in 34, which is the blank game week. And then, of course, Game Week 36, we expect Haaland to have a double game week, which is a very good double, in fact. So, yeah, a lot of great things with that chip strategy, in my opinion. Right, that should be chat working now on YouTube. Any Timber news, please? Yes, we do have Timber news, actually, mate. Let's go and have a look at that. 2 seconds, Connor. I'll get the chat open so I can see what you've just said. I can see your icons came up just there. None of Bukayo Saka, Julian Timber, Odegaard, Calafiori, and Capier were seen in the open training for Arsenal. He basically hasn't gave us much in the press conference whatsoever. There has been some changes since yesterday. Yes, I don't know. Some of them could be available. So, yeah. Doesn't tell us much, but it is not exactly hopeful for those players that I mentioned just then. Welbeck captain, he's probably about 4th or 5th on my list this week, so not the highest, in all honesty, bro. Not the highest. Let me get my chat open for YouTube here, because it's not working. Is Gusto a good option instead of Gabriel? I don't think I'll go for him, in all honesty. Connor's in the chat. He says, hey, Mogs, at mate's house. I might be in and out today. Absolutely no worries at all, Connor. Connor, if you get a chance, let me know what you're doing this week, because I am very intrigued about your strategy. Stu's got 0 in the bank and 7.7 for João Pedro. Is it a good change? I would honestly just wait. I think Thiago's... Oh, no, you didn't even mention Thiago. I'm assuming that is Thiago you've sold, though. No, João Pedro's fine. João Pedro's fine. I'm not picking him, though. I'm not picking him. Is it wise to wildcard? Should I use wildcard? Wildcard's good this week. Why does everyone have the same team? What the F? I mean, there's only 6 teams doubling Misra next week, so a lot of people will have very similar teams. Very similar teams. That is just how this strategy works. A lot of people on the same strategy, of course. Knowing that there is a double game week in Game Week 33. Stu said, I'm thinking of changing Pedro for someone. If you've got João Pedro, I'll just keep him. He's got a double next week, saves you a transfer. We've not got a lot of transfers left now till the end of the season. So I think it is very optimal just to keep those transfers in check. Wildcard next week, surely. Bench boost next week for me. I'll have 13 double game week players, but it could be the case that Bowen leaves for João Pedro, but I don't know. I might just keep him for Bowen's fixtures after. We'll have to wait and see. Nico says, my team is Kelleher, Gabriel, Richards, Virgil van Dijk, Anderson, Rich, which I'm not too sure who it is, Soboslai, Bruno Fernandes, Ekatike, Thiago, Haaland. Any changes? Ooh. I feel like we would probably aim to get some double game week players in for next game week. Best front three for wildcard, says Joel. You're looking at it, Joel. You're looking at it on your screen. I think this is the best 3 for wildcard this week. Danny Welbeck could come in for Jarrod Bowen if you're stuck on money. Use my bench boost. Unlucky. Then wildcard next week's probably great as long as you got a free hit to cover. Why Bournemouth players, mate? They double in 33. Their double is not even too bad either. Double. Connor said I've got to go, but I'll try to be back soon, lads. No worries at all, mate. Lucas says, why is everyone picking Palmer right now? He's got a double game week next week. That's literally it. That is literally it. I'll be very honest with you. It's the double game week. O'Reilly in 11. What do you mean in 11? He's definitely playing for me this week, yeah. 100%. Zafran's in. Hello, sir. It's been an eternity. It absolutely has been, Zafran. Very nice to have you back in stream, brother. What time's the deadline? 6:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m. What are the up-and-coming double teams? Let me pull up the fixture. Actually, you won't be able to see this on TikTok. So, we have, in 33, Leeds have Wolves at home, Bournemouth away. Man City have Burnley away, Arsenal at home. Bournemouth have Newcastle away, Leeds at home. Chelsea have Manchester United at home, Brighton away. Brighton have Chelsea at home, Spurs away. And Burnley have Man City at home, Nottingham Forest away. So 6 teams doubling. Leeds, Man City, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Brighton, Burnley. That's all in 33. Who's double? Double. We're talking about double game weeks. So stuck between Pedro and Bowen at 3.7k in the world. Will, what's your crack with your chip strategy? Are you needing players for game week 34? How many transfers do you have? Daniel says, should I triple captain Bruno this week? No. Wait for game week 36 on Haaland is my recommendation, mate. 100%. Zafran says, I only have 2 free transfers for game week 33 double game week. Which 2 players I have to own? For the double game week, I mean, it depends on your squad because I can't quite remember what your team is like. But Semenyo and Haaland would be very, very, very high on that list for me. Very high. Do you think I should sell Palmer? No. Wrong time to sell him. Wrong time to sell him. No Wolves players? No. Is that Charves? Charves says, who's winning, Wolves or West Ham? I think West Ham. I think it'll be a good game, though. I think it'll be a good game. Yasia says, I have Shaw on the bench. Should I buy O'Reilly for Timber or start Timber Chow? Comes on if Timber's injured. I would just buy O'Reilly. O'Reilly's a great option. I think to the end of the season, O'Reilly's probably the best defender you can have. Why not Welbeck? I went Matoma instead. I think Bowen's just much better this week. Well, not this week, but right. This is what I had a discussion on TikTok yesterday in a video. I think Calvert-Lewin's the better option for that cheap forward. I think Calvert-Lewin's the better option. Therefore, it allows me to, instead of Statch, who is now ruled out, I know this, I can get Matoma instead, who has that Burnley fixture. So we're going with Bowen up top and Matoma in the midfield instead of Welbeck. Reese says, bro, can you help me please? Yeah, of course. Drop a comment down, man. Why is everyone buying Leeds players? They double next week, bro. Why did you decide to go with no Gabriel? I just don't need him with my strategy for maybe the rest of the season. Matoma's a horror shout? I don't think so. How come he's a horror shout, Josh? Let me know. Get Aronson in. I'm not as keen on Aronson compared to someone like Matoma. Just with the fixture in mind this week. Check your recent comments. I can't at the moment, Reese, because I'm streaming, mate. But if you do have a question, do let me know in the chat, and I'll be able to answer it. Get Aronson instead of Matoma. He's got a 14-pointer, a few back. Fair enough. Nice differential team. Oh, no, sorry. Yassir says, nice wildcard team. I like the differential changes you made. Thank you very much, mate. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really fun game week. I'm just hoping this wildcard team can outscore my actual team that I transferred from. If it can, then we're absolutely laughing. Thoughts on João Pedro? The golfing kid. Nice. João Pedro's decent, yeah. João Pedro's decent. Can I have your opinion, please, between Pedro and Bowen? 3.7k in the world. I'm tempted. It really does depend on how many transfers you have, what chip strategy you're on. I feel as though Bowen is a very decent option for this week. He's my second best captain for game week 32. So I think this week is great. Next week, of course, you can make the extra transfer to go Bowen to João Pedro. I'm not sure I will. I think I'll just stick with Jared Bowen and have a single game weeker. It all depends, though. If Crystal Palace don't look as good, I'll be less likely to... Oh, I just dropped loads of things. Be less likely to save that free transfer. Should I sell Ekitike? I would do so, yeah. I would do so. If I had to choose one, O'Reilly, Nunes, or Semenyo, it would probably be Semenyo. What about Rodon? Rodon's red flagged. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be playing. That's why I've got Goodmanson and Pascal Stroik instead. Best cheap defenders on the wildcard, mates. You're looking at them right here. I think these are the guys you should be having on wildcard. For me, these are the ones we should be starting here. Will Timber play? I have my doubts he'll play, but it wouldn't be surprising if he did start. Start Gomez or Wilson this week. Gomez. I'm assuming you're talking about Brighton. Gomez, of course. Are you going for bench boost in 33? Yes, I am, Nathan. Yes, I am. Jacob says, have you used your free hit? I have not. I have not, which is why I've got so many double game week players in this wildcard. Have you played your wildcard? I have indeed. I have indeed. This is what it is. This is the final wildcard team. I don't think I'm going to make any changes to it. I'm pretty happy with it. Leon says you plan to transfer out Bowen next week. We'll have to wait and see, Leon, because I think if Palace look quite impressive, it means I don't have to save. Like, I'll have to save a transfer for game week 36 when they double. If they look a bit crap, I'm more likely to use a transfer on Bowen to go João Pedro. We'll have to wait and see, though. We'll have to wait and see. What Leeds keeper will play? I think Darlow. FPL Tom's in. Yo, bro. How's it going, FPL Tom? Tom, what do you reckon of this wildcard? Am I cooking or am I cooked? Joshua's in the YouTube chat. He says, how's it going, guys? How is it going, Joshua? Nice to have you in, mate. It's been a while. It's been a long while. Khalid says, start Hill or Alderete this week, please. I would go with Alderete. I would go with Alderete. Ballard is confirmed out, of course. I'm not seeing the appeal of Matoma for me. Matoma's a bit of an interesting one, isn't he? 2 goals all season, I know, but I think we're looking at just a 2-week span, not of like a long-term pick, really. Because I feel like he could definitely be transferred out in game week 35 or 36-ish, depending on fixtures for a Crystal Palace player. We'll have to see, but I think I quite like him. Pascal Gross doesn't seem as high upside, especially across the double. So I'm pretty pleased. I'm pretty pleased with Matoma. Of course, not had a brilliant season at all. Petrovic or Petrovic for the double next week. Zafran says, Bijol, Goodmanson, Stroik, or Hill are great cheap defenders. I agree. FPL Tom says, fair enough, mate. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it does, mate. Hopefully it does. I'm quite liking the addition of Bowen now to the wildcard team. I didn't have him originally. But a lot of models are pointing to Bowen actually being the second best captain this week, if not third best captain. So I think he's worth the inclusion. I've lost my head. My wildcard team is mental. Oh God, Tom. Who are some of the out there picks, Tom? What are we saying? No Sunderland, sadly not, Lacey. Sadly not. I'd love some Sunderland players, but they don't double next week. They don't. Jack says my team is Kelleher, Dubravka, Chow, Virgil, Gabriel, Timber, Hill, Gordon, Bruno, and Buemo, Wilson, Ekatike, Haaland, Mane. No wildcard, can't afford Haaland. Would you roll? I would probably roll into next week. Yeah. FPL Tom says, I'm wildcard 32, free hit 34, and bench boost 36. Wow. So you can imagine it's very different. Yeah. That is an interesting strategy, to be fair. I've not even thought of that one. I'm assuming, because you won't be able to navigate 34 very efficiently. That's actually a really interesting strategy, you know. Really interesting strategy. These differential strategies, though, they sometimes pay off in like such a big way. Like everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people on the Wildcard 32, Bench Boost 33, and Free Hit 34. With if they have Triple Captain in 36, a lot of people are on this. I would have Free Hit 33 if my team could be managed. I get what you're saying. Actually, I get what you're saying. To be fair, I feel as though, yeah, I feel as though Free Hit 33 isn't too bad for a lot of people. A lot of people, I think out of all of the chips, Free Hit is the least used one from what I'm gathered from my community. I think that'll be a very popular strategy, to be fair. Josh's team is cooked. Oh, God, bro. Oh, God. Janet says, Verbruggen or Raya. Verbruggen, doubles next week. Callum's locked in, buddy. Let's go. Callum, what did we decide? Did you go Hinchelwood? Because I know you were raving about him. You almost convinced us, but I think I'm going Matoma. Oh. FPL Tom said, I just don't want to end up triple Brighton, Leeds, or Bournemouth. Even double up on Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea assets for me aren't very appealing. That's why we've just got the penalty taker. Do you know what I mean? So, because I like the idea of having the double Chelsea with João Pedro, but then, I don't know, I've just never really enjoyed João Pedro in FPL. Of course, he had a really good tear a few weeks ago, but for me, he's just not my kind of vibe. Bowen helps the team this week look a little bit better, which is great. Ryan says, João Pedro or Bowen. I have no free hit. It would be Jared Bowen in that case, I would say. Henry Mola says, Welbeck, yes or no? Yeah, Welbeck's good. Zafran says, so you'll do bench boost 33 and free hit 34? Yes. Yes. João Pedro is a war crime. If I don't have him, he's amazing. As soon as I buy him, he's a dud. Tom, can you please buy him to protect my rank, please? Can you just buy him this week to help my brother out? Yeah, it's kind of the same with me. I've never had a good time owning João Pedro apart from when he just came into FPL. Oh, he says he doesn't have him. We're cooked. Rank is mudded. Oh, no. Oh, God. I might have to buy him now. I might have to buy him. It's Arlo safe for minutes. I feel as though he's completely fine to pick. I think he's fine to pick, but I've gone Petrovic instead. I just didn't want to double up on the Bournemouth, the centre-back pairing. I think there's other combinations there. Like Goodmanson feels a bit better than James Hill in my eyes. Even with that sort of injury doubt, I think he'd be completely fine, especially next week. It's fine, bro. Bowen Mega Hall tonight. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Yasia said he's going to buy O'Reilly for Timber this week, then buy Semenyo for Gordon, bench boost, then free hit. Nice, bro. Nice. I can see Semenyo scoring a goal or two or getting involved within this game, though. Chelsea don't look the best team right now. Andrea says, Gomez, Tavernier, or Scott and Gross. I'm on Wildcard. I would probably go Gomez and Tavernier. I think Tavernier's great. Lambrose says, start Pedro or Wilson. Probably João Pedro. FPL Tom says, best of luck this game week, mate. Great to be back. It absolutely is, mate. It absolutely is. I've missed this so much. Have a great game with FPL Tom. Everyone shout at FPL Tom. If you're not already following, which you should absolutely be, go find him in the comments. Go give him a follow. What a guy. Is this your wildcard team? Says Hans. Yes, it is, mate. Sai says rate. Petrovic, Nico Williams, Gabriel, O'Reilly, Semenyo, Bruno Rice, Gordon, Garner, João Pedro, Haaland. It's not too bad, mate. It's not too bad. It's nice to have Arsenal defenders in there, of course. Ashwin says, Chelsea have a double game week, so why take Bowen? I think he's much better than João Pedro this week. By a good distance. Put a Sunderland player in, they've got Spurs. I know we've got Spurs. It just doesn't fit with my strategy, sadly. Darlow for Leeds after Perry's recent performance in the FA Cup. Oh, I get what you're saying, Callum, yeah. I get what you're saying. Khalid says, last one, start DCL or Wilson? DCL. Yeah, I'd start DCL. Who would you transfer Ekatike for? I already have Thiago and Bowen. You're not going to be able to afford Haaland, are you? It would be João Pedro, wouldn't it? It would be João Pedro. Yes, I had Enzo Lafy for a long time. Time for him to shine against Spurs. I hope he does. He should be playing on left wing. From what I'm seeing about team news and stuff. I've gone rogue. Gordon captain. Thoughts? Not as keen on that. He should play number 9 though. He should still be playing number. I can't see him not playing number 9. What's the predicted lineup saying? Let's have a look. Yeah, Gordon number 9. Barnes along. It's not bad against Palace, but it is away from home, which I'm never too keen on. You think Matoma plays 90? Not full 90, no. 75 plus, 80 minutes plus. I think that's the mark we're hitting there. What's the reason behind Bowen you keeping him past game week 33? I'm not sure is my honest answer. I'm not sure. If Palace look good, I need to save transfers for game week 36. If Palace look crap, I can use a transfer on Jared Bowen to get João Pedro. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Zafran says, what are your thoughts on bench boost 33 when 3/4 players don't double? Or should I -4, even -8/12 to get a full squad to double? I would probably take this week as it is. Then next week I would assess this question yet again, because there could be huge upside in some players that have kind of really performed in this game week. But I think your goal really is to take as little hits as possible. I think having single game week players are completely fine next week, which is why I've got 2 currently for game week 33. I'm more than happy to bench boost with 2. More than happy. What have we got here? Lewis says, who do you transfer in? Already have Thiago or Bowen. It would be João Pedro. Why'd you go Matoma out of interest? Matoma just feels like it has a little bit more upside than a Pascal Gross. Nice differential. I'm happy to have him in. It allows me then to sell Welbeck within this particular draft, get Calvert-Lewin up front, and still have that triple Brighton, triple Leeds. So that's kind of the reason there. It's more of a formatting pick, but there is massive upside there, I think. There is. Minte or Tavernier? Tavernier. Captain Bowen or Thiago? Bowen. Are you not worried about Bournemouth defence? They seem off lately. Senesi is the DEFCON king. That's what I expect him to get. If he comes with a clean sheet, that is just an incredibly huge bonus. Cheers. I always ask the same thing next week. Or I'll ask the same thing next week. Not a problem. Good luck for this week, Corey, mate. No worries at all, Zafran. Appreciate you having him coming into the stream, bro. Should I go Bowen or João Pedro, but have to take a -4 later on? If you're talking about a -4 in blank game week 35, I'll just go Bowen. Time for loads of green arrows for the rest of the season. Absolutely, Yasir. Slim Real says, I'm 247th in the world. Unbelievable rank just to start that off. Off pure look and vibes. That's all it takes, man. Ran out of chips now and concerned about the blank game week. I'll prepare for the blank game week. Save your transfers as much as you can. Even if it means having a sub-optimal double game week 33, you've got to survive that game week. That's going to really put you back, especially with loads of people free hitting. Loads of people got the transfers saved up. You've got to just survive as much as you can. I don't think Palmer gets much points this week. I don't think so either. Double next week, though, on penalties. You just never know with him when he's going to show up. Is Saka out for Bournemouth? Jack Lewis, I do apologise, but Arteta has gave me no positive quotes about Bukayo Saka, Julian Timber. So it is hard to really put a finger on whether he's going to start or not. I would like to think he's in contention, but I do think Madueke will start. Timber, on the other hand, I think is more likely to be featured in the starting lineup than as Bukayo Saka. So if you have Timber, I think you're more likely to be okay this game week. Lambro says, what is the best chip strategy with free hit, triple captain, and bench boost? Bench boost next week. Free hit 34, triple captain 36. Ekatike or Bowen? Bowen. Do I go wildcard this week and bench boost, triple captain, and wildcard? Wildcard this week, bench boost next week, triple captain 36. You've got to survive game week 34 though, so use a planning tool to make sure you can deal with your team in game week 34. Someone like FPL.team are really good. What's your rank? 293k. I'm expecting over the next 3 weeks, though, with 3 consecutive chips, to jump up around that 100k mark. We can pray. We can pray if it goes even further. Wildcard question mark? Yes. Welbeck or Calvert-Lewin? Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin for me. I think he's the one. I'm signing Diego Gomez, but I'm worried about him being 1 yellow away from a 2-match ban. Thoughts? I mean, you can take that risk. You absolutely can. I just think you could easily just go Pascal Gross. You could squeeze in a Matoma if you're feeling it. I think we're going that way. Why no Fulham players? Because you're a sore Brentford CANT. I know what you're trying to say there, but you've got the wrong shirt, mate. One about the biggest red and white club in England here. Sunderland, mate. We're not a Brentford supporter. Can not tell by my accent, like. Is Wilson good for game week 32? He's all right. He's all right. If I've got him, if you have to play him this week, it's not bad, you know. Thiago for Everton game, yeah, he's decent. He's decent. He's got some okay fixtures as well coming, doesn't he? Like, it's not bad. I have no Brentford. I have no free hits, but I'm currently 2 transfers, and we'll have 4 by game week 34. Is 8 double game week players enough? Yeah, absolutely. If that's what all you can manage, that's absolutely fine. Jack Parslow in the chat. How we doing, brother? I'm doing brilliant, Jack. I'm doing brilliant. How you doing, mate? How you doing? Not Nepo says, free hitting 33, wildcard 35. Should I use a transfer on Hill or risk it with Timber? I would risk it with Timber. If you've got bench cover, then you're sound, aren't you? Also, other defender is Ballard, who also is not play. I get what you're saying now, Nepo. Ballard is out. I would risk it. Petrovic over Darlow? Yes, for this particular squad, yeah. Is Bruno safer than Haaland? Bruno will be more... it will be higher effective ownership than Haaland this week, yeah. So it effectively is safer. But he's also, in my opinion, better. So, Senesi versus Arsenal, lol. Yeah. Defensive contributions, baby. He is not getting a clean sheet, I don't think. But is there Timber news, Mogs? Yes, but it's not exactly informative, but I can still give you it. So, Bukayo Saka, Julian Timber, Odegaard, Calafiori, and Capier were not seen in the open training session for Arsenal. Arteta was asked if those players could be available, and he said there have been changes since yesterday, yes. I don't know, some of them could be available. That is all you're getting. That is really all you're getting. Positive in some ways, but also doesn't tell you much at all. Arsenal cooked 3-0 Bournemouth. 3-0 Bournemouth, you reckon? I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think so. Where are we at? What do you think about Gudmundsson's fitness? I think he'll be fine for this game week, but if not, he'll definitely be fine for the double. I don't think it's a bad injury whatsoever. It's more of a knock, come away from international break type thing. You going to keep Bowen for the double or switch to a double game player? We'll have to wait and see, down boy. We'll have to wait and see. I think a lot of it bears on if Crystal Palace are looking good. If they are, I'm more likely to save my transfers for their double in 36. If they look pants, I'm more likely to get João Pedro in instead of Bowen. That just makes sense in terms of saving transfers. I hope that makes sense to you. Braden's in the chat. Yes, Mogs, how are you? I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm backing Wolves to beat West Ham. I don't think they will. I really don't think they will, actually. It's gonna be a good game, though. I think it's gonna be a good game. Bench boost this week or wildcard? Wildcard. I've seen everyone's teams are the same this game week. Yes, a lot of people are on the same strategy, therefore they'll have very similar formats. Obviously, triple City, everyone's probably going to have the same City players because there's a clear best three. Calvert-Lewin's very popular, Welbeck's very popular, Palmer's popular, Van Heck, of course, popular. A lot of very similar picks, but it does make sense with a lot of people on the same strategy. I feel like we're going to lose rank in 36. Everyone's going to use triple captain when you and I don't. I'll have 6 double game week players, so I don't think it's going to be as bad. Welbeck or Bruno captain? Bruno. Brill's not got any idea. Yeah, we don't have an idea on Timber, but I would probably risk playing him. Because Ben White played Champions League, didn't he? Could it be an early sub for Timber if he starts? Yes. But I think it would be fine. Mowgli, my boy. Owen, lad. Yes, boy. How you doing, lad? How you doing, mate? Nepo says, if Timber doesn't play, it's Hill versus Arsenal. Could do Hill or Dallo, but only got 1 free transfer. I think Hill versus Arsenal's fine. Like, it is fine. I expect Arsenal to concede. I expect Bournemouth to concede. So I don't think there's much in it between Timber and Hill, but then Timber was be more likely to get defensive contribution. So I don't think it's a bad shout having Hill for the defensive contributions. But I would risk playing Timber. I'm sorry, but as West Ham fan, why is Bowen there? Good pick, mate. Do you know who you're playing, Sonny? Do you know who you're playing? It's got great fixtures past it as well. Arsenal get beat this weekend. I think this is the start of the downfall of Arsenal, eh? Everyone's thinking it. Who thinks Arsenal are going to drop points? I can't see it personally, but I do think they'll concede. Braden's team is Raya, Gehi, Gabriel Dallo, Bruno Fernandes, Soboslai, Gomez, Semenyo, Welbeck, Beto, Larson. It's an interesting team, to be fair, Braden. Tim G says Arsenal will win. I think they will as well. I think they're as well. Brader says I would love Arsenal to flop. I think a lot of people would love to see Arsenal flop. I think it really just depends if Man City can put that pressure on. Man City realistically need to win every single game. They really do. But at this point of the season, Arsenal do tend to tear off a little bit. So, we'll have to wait and see. Really don't know what to do with my team. If I send it in, can you give me some help, mate? Yeah, just type it out, Joshua. I'll help you best I can. Playing Tavernier instead of DCL, surely. Leeds won't score, I don't think. I think, honestly, I would much prefer to play Calvert-Lewin. I think I would. I just think away at Arsenal, yes, Tavernier could score, but the likelihood of that is pretty low. It is pretty low. I think Calvert-Lewin has a better chance. Not winning 6 leads, have they? Yeah, and Calvert-Lewin hasn't had an attacking involvement in, how many weeks? For ages, basically. Maybe 9 weeks-ish. I'm really looking at the data, to be honest with you, in terms of that matchup. I think it'd be a good game. I mean, we've seen them play Leeds away from home. They did pretty well. World says Senesi starting is a result of poor planning. It's not, because I'm on Wildcard and I chose for him to be there. It is good planning because Bournemouth have a double game week next week. You'll see, I can't put it on this screen, but my double game week team next week looks unbelievable. Think I'd rather play Petrovic up top than Calvert-Lewin, my love. Well, we never know. Triple captain, Petrovic, anyone? Eh? Is Anderson better than Hill for this week? No. I think, is he? Probably, actually, because he's at home, isn't he? You could have had someone else then transferred it to Nessie. Yeah, but that's a transfer, World. That doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't use a transfer next week on that. Is next week's bench? Yes, it is bench boost next week. Oh, well, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Matoma doesn't even play. He's just came back. Surprised you've still got Palmer in. Yeah, new transfer in. I'm not really excited about him, to be honest with you. I'm really not. It's the double the next week, bro. I've got to go with the doubles. You know, start Hill or Tavernier. I would go Hill. I'll go Hill. Would you play Mane versus West Ham if you had him? Would I do that? Depends who you're benching him over. Maybe. Are you transferring out Bowen next week? It's up in the air still, but I think I'm more likely to keep him. Joshua sent his team in. He's got Raya Senesi, Alderete, Virgil van Dijk, Bruno Wirtz, Wilson, Sarr, Thiago, Ekitike, João Pedro. Subs as Kelleher, Gehi, Gabriel, and Stach. I would play Gabriel over Senesi, 100%. Virgil van Dijk to Van Heck, Wirtz to Semenyo, Thiago / Ekitike to Haaland / Krupi. Looks bad. I don't think it looks that bad. I think you've got a good idea there, to be fair, Joshua. Get the double game week plays in. I think it's sound. Is Alisson worth a transfer out if I got Sarr? I don't think so. If I would probably say you could spend your transfers elsewhere, but then the game week 32 fixtures aren't really that appealing. It depends who you would get, though. If you went for Bruggen, I would maybe say yeah. Gonna buy Peter Crouch for Haaland for a -4. I'd go for it. Isn't Cunha better than Palmer? Then transfer him next week for bench boost. Yeah, but it's just another transfer I'm gonna have to put in the future. I don't think it's worth it because we've not got many transfers left till the season. We really don't. Nepo says my attackers are Bruno, Schade, Wirtz, Rodgers, and Wilson, Thiago, and Bowen. That's a pretty good lineup. It could definitely combat the Wildcard 32 teams, 100%. 100%. I wouldn't be so surprised if my original team outscores my Wildcard 32 team. Pazzo says he's free hitting in 33, so I don't know. If you're 3 hitting... Yeah, I would say it's maybe worth the transfer, but then we don't know how... Because you can't get Bruggen then, because game week 34, it's difficult to call. You know, are you going to make a transfer in that week for a keeper? Probably not. You'd probably just keep the transfer, wouldn't you? And then you can navigate blanks and doubles in the future a bit better. It is difficult, Jack, with the not having free hit for 34. You just have to make sure you can navigate it. That's the only issue. Andrea says, thank you for your help, mate. Have a good week. Have a good week, mate. You too. Calvert-Lewin, Haaland, and João Pedro for captain. Huncho, I would say Haaland over all of them, yeah. Over all of them. Why Matoma over Minte? I just think he'll start on that left-hand side. I don't think Minte will start. I think it will be Matoma, Hinchelwood, and Gomez across the 3. And, of course, Welbeck up top. Make sure you double tap the screen if you're watching on TikTok, by the way. We're at 5k likes right now. We'll see if we can get to 10k by the end of the stream. I have 5 free transfers as well as free hit bench boosts. Is it the best time to use transfers now, or do I wildcard? If you use wildcard, you'd save your 5 free transfers, bro. Because you wouldn't be able to gain a transfer anyway. So you wouldn't be burning a transfer in theory. Do you know what I mean? On a bench boost, you technically would burn the transfer because you gain a transfer on a bench boost week, whereas free hit you don't. So like next week you could use a transfer or 2 to make sure you don't burn one, and then the 34 have more saved up. So benching Mane, it depends, Nepo. Who are you planning to bench if you wanted to play Mane? Wait, if I use wildcard, I don't gain free transfer? No. Bench boost you do, free hit you don't. Roofs and concert for Raya and Dallo. Probably not. Probably not. I'm on 4 now. Yeah, so you'd still have 4 next week. You wouldn't gain one. What's the website you use for your videos where you can see your team set up in future game weeks? It's called fpl.team, Joshua. That is the one I would recommend, 100%. You just have to put your team ID in. I still haven't used anything. I still think it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine using your chips now if you've still got loads of free transfers. In fact, it helps you in the future for game week 36 in particular, and later maybe getting Arsenal back in. I think Wildcard this week, bench boost next week, free hit 34, and triple captain 36 is probably the best strategy you can go for. Ryan's says, should I replace Bowen for João Pedro on Wildcard, but we'll have to do a -4 later on? I probably wouldn't do it if you're taking a -4 now. Bowen to replace Pedro if free hit in 33. Yeah, I would do that because it's a better fixture this week for Jarrod Bowen. I think he's the second best option for captain this week, so that shows the level he's at. Wilson maybe, Rodgers. If it's Wilson and Rodgers, I would just bench Mane, Nepo. Minte, Gomez or Matoma. For me, it's Matoma out of those, but Pascal Gross is probably the next best option. Jack Hinchelwood as well is pretty decent. Hey, do you know if Timber starts? We don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did. I think if you got him, I would probably risk it. If you're desperate, that is. James Garner, a good option. James Garner's not bad. He's not bad. I don't think he's amazing, though. They do have Brentford. Away from home, that is, isn't it? So, I'm on a wild card. Who do I bring in for Timber? Depends. O'Reilly, probably. I just put Armstrong in. Is that good? I probably would stay away from Burnley. I would stay away from Gordon or Rodgers. Probably Gordon, you know. Probably Gordon. Doc says, hello, mate. Just joined the stream. I'm on Wildcard 2. Main dilemma is Matoma or Pascal Gross. Why are you Matoma? I think maybe across this week and next, there's just that little bit of a higher ceiling from Matoma. He's done it before in the Premier League. It wouldn't be surprising if he scores. Yes, Pascal Gross can get defensive contributions, but is that going to be every single game? It's hard to predict. I just think there's a little bit more of a higher ceiling to a Matoma pick. I think there's a high ceiling to Jack Hinchelwood than Pascal Gross as well. Any injury leaks, mate? Nothing yet. I don't think we'll get anything because it's a Friday deadline. Nepo says, would you start him over any of my attackers? Can't bench any more defenders. I don't think I would, Nepo. I think Mane would sit on the bench for me. So I don't think West Ham's like a team to target necessarily anymore. I do think he'll start, but is Gross not on pens? No, Danny Welbeck would be. Thank you for the heart me as well, Braden. I've just seen that come up. Joshua says, thanks, bro. Going to use it and play around with some transfer ideas. I used Wildcard like 5 games ago, so got to be tactical. Yeah, you've got to be careful with it, don't you? Jack Scott. Jack, I missed this before. He's got Samu, Kiele, Timber, Gabriel, Fernandez, Wilson, Rogers, Dango, Ekitike, Thiago, Haaland. Benches, Allison, Statch, Anderson, and Hill. 3 transfers, 3 million. Thinking of rolling. I think I would roll as well. I think Ekitike is probably the one out of all of them I would transfer out. I think Ekitike to Bowen, Ekitike to Calvert-Lewin feels good. But then you're free hitting next week, aren't you? Bowen's probably the one with the better fixture, isn't he? Bowen's probably the one. If you wanted to make a transfer, that is. If you didn't, I don't really blame you that much. I think it's a good team. Pascal Gross or Tavernier. Absolutely Tavernier. Sanchez and Rodgers to Raya and Sarr on a free hit 33 strategy. Yeah, I think I would consider that. Have you wildcarded? Yes, Lewis, I have. Matoma or Van Heck? Van Heck's probably the easier one to pick there, isn't he? M says João Pedro or Bowen. I'm on Wildcard. I've personally went Bowen with that same decision. Of course, my strategy's maybe a bit different to yours. I've got a few different transfers saved up. It all depends, really. It all depends. Do West Ham double? No, they don't. They have good fixtures, though. They don't double. Which keeper am I starting, Petrovic or Dubravka? It would probably be Dubravka, and you just hope that he gets more save points than Petrovic. Roy Clifford, hello mate, how you doing? 8.2 for a midfielder. Already had Bruno and Buemo Semenyo. Any suggestions? 8.2. Cunha doesn't seem like a bad shout this week. Cunha doesn't seem like it. Depends on what strategy and stuff you're going for, but Cunha doesn't seem too bad. If you are looking at strategies, doubles and stuff, and you're not ready for the doubles, I would bring in the double game week player. Want to bring in Van Heck. Who should I transfer out? Chow, James Hill, Mukiele. Chow. Would be Chow. Or even Anderson, to be fair. Anderson or Chow. Sweet thanks. No worries, Rory. No worries. Back to having a load of free transfers that I got no idea how to use. To be fair, Jack, that's not a bad thing, though. Coming into blank game weeks, coming into a game week in 36 where it will be really nice to have loads of transfers, I wouldn't be complaining. Calvert-Lewin or Matoma? Calvert-Lewin. Orange apples in the chat. Right. Who ordered 1 unit? I did, mate. And you're in. How are we, Orange Apple? Amazing, amazing to see it. It's been way, way, way too long since the last deadline. Minte recently hasn't got much points. How come you got him? I don't. I've got Matoma. Sorry if the graphics are a bit blurry, but Matoma is in my team. Minte is not. This year, I expect I'm done. Next season is where I cook. To say that every season and one day you'll win it. I have James Justin. He has done good for me when I start him. I recommend him over Gudmundsson. I think Gudmundsson's just a bit better. More attacking output in my eyes. Any considerations for captain this week? Would it be completely crazy to stick on Bowen this week? No, it wouldn't be. But Bruno for me is the number one option. Mogs, bro, I was also on Matoma for a bit. Are you not worried for his minutes? Not so much, no. I think we're looking at maybe 75 minutes, 80 minutes plus this game week in particular. I think what's to consider, if Gomez does get a yellow, then Matoma's minutes are going to be better. And that goes for both this week and next week for Gomez. Someone in chat, should I bring in Cunha for Rodgers if I free hit next week? I would do that, yeah. I think Cunha's actually pretty good. Yeah, Jack's, of course, rolling his transfer. Every week this guy rolls a transfer. Some 10, should I bring in O'Reilly or Van Heck for Game Week 32? O'Reilly. He is, for me, the best defender you can own in the entirety of FPL till the end of the season now. I think his minutes are going to be on point. Loads of doubles. Well, I say loads of doubles. He's got the most doubles left of anyone in the season, of course, being a Man City player. Yeah, I just think he's great. Minte or Gross. Be all from Leeds or Gudmundsson. I would go Gudmundsson if you're not expecting him to play this week. If you're not playing him this week, sorry. I expect him to play this week. Connor says no Haaland. Am I cooked? Not so much this week, but next week probably. Next week probably. Sanchez and Rodgers to Raya and Sarr, or Sanchez and Chow to Raya and Richards, or Raya to Henderson. I would go the Ismail Sarr route 59. Toby says, should I bring in Bowen for Ekitike or Krupi? I have like 7 million in the bank. Ekatike would go for me, and I'll bring in Bowen. I would. Connor is cooked. I don't care. Connor is cooked, absolutely. No Haaland. What's he playing at? Cash to Van Heck? Yeah. I would do that. Set you up nicely next week. Calvert-Lewin or Minte? Calvert-Lewin, absolutely. Casemiro and Buemo or Cunha? Probably Mbuemo because he's likely to play number 9, but Cunha feels like a nice outside pick. Van Dijk or Joachim Anderson? I would go Van Dijk. Start O'Reilly or Chow this week? O'Reilly. Oh, my nose. Gomez or Gross? Pascal Gross. We have... Should I start João Pedro or Wilson this week? Probably João Pedro. I think Wilson, though, because Raul Jimenez isn't predicted to start. I think that makes Wilson the penalty taker. So maybe that gives him a little bit more upside. Just a little bit, though. Connor is permanently cooked. This guy would be on 700 points overall if it wasn't for Malik Chow and Somerville randomly saving him every week. Jama's 17-pointer ever. He hasn't had Chow, has he? He's saying he's not had Chow. Will Goodmanson play in 33? Yes, that's why I've got him personally. I think he'll play both fixtures. I think he'll play this week as well. Very attacking. I like very much. Wilson versus a terrible Liverpool. Yeah. Should be on pens as well if Jimenez isn't starting. Hey Moogs, can you check DM? Briefly, yes, I can. I can't read it very much, bro, but this is my team for double game week. Tango Anson. It looks like a good team, Zafran, but I don't know if you've got any questions to go with it. I'm still streaming, so I can't look at it fully. Do you know what I mean? But let me know if there's a question to go with the team, and I'll see if I can take a look again. Will Goodmanson play in 33? I've already answered that one. Welbeck or Bowen? Welbeck because of the double, but Bowen's still a good option. Calvert-Lewin or João Pedro? I have 5 free transfers, but I'm using Wildcard. Your 5 free transfers will be saved on a Wildcard because you can't gain a free transfer on a Wildcard. So therefore, you don't have to make that transfer, if that makes sense. But in terms of on a Wildcard, I would probably go Calvert-Lewin and then go the Bowen route, especially if you've got the transfer saved up. I feel like my squad is good enough for blank game week, and this is the current game week. I have all chips. Yeah, but you when are you using your chips though, bro? When are you using your chips? Are you talking about like saving your chips? Where we at here? Where we at? Start 2, Hall, Van Dijk, Timber, and Van Dijk. Lambros out to I would go. I've gone with DCL, bro. I just think Welbeck makes more sense with Burnley this week. I've gone without, DCL. Does mean I only have Verbruggen. Ooh. I would like more Brighton than that, to be fair, especially this week. Obviously, for the double as well. Always great. Thanks for the help, mate. No worries, Nepo. Nice to have you in stream. I think you are a new face to the stream, so nice to have you in. If I'm wrong, please do tell me off. Cash or Mukiele? I would go Mukiele this week. Should be back for us. Should be back. Excited to have him back as well. It's been a while without Mukiele. You think Statch will be back for 34? I think it's highly unlikely he'll be back for 34. I do. I mean, we can take a look at the quotes because there was a little bit more information given about Statch in the presser. If I can blum find it. Jack Bion. I know he didn't even speak on... Oh, no, he did. Antoine Joe definitely missed the game on Monday. Ankle injury after the Cup. Joe will miss that game as well. It's difficult to say when Statch will be back. Ligament injury in the ankle. Same for Joe Rodon. If they would be able to feature at some point in April, it would be a bonus. So that does put me off Statch ever so slightly there. What's your chip plan? Game week 32 wildcards. Next week for 33 in the double, we are bench boosting. And then, of course, free hit in 34 to save my arse when everyone blanks. Do you think Matoma will play 90? No, I think he'll play over 80 minutes. Not 90. Reckon Saka will be out? Yeah, I don't think he will play. Mogs, I hope you know Burnley score. Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. Orange says, are you doing Bowen to João Pedro in 33? I'm undecided right now, and I think that is mainly to do with I don't know how Crystal Palace are going to look. I want to save my transfers for Crystal Palace in 36 when they double. Obviously, it's not confirmed, but it's like 90% likely it will be confirmed. Welbeck for Thiago. Yeah, would I do that? I would maybe do it, obviously, next week. But this week, you could easily start Thiago and be pretty happy. Will Mukele start for game week 32? Yeah, I think he will. I think he will. I absolutely think he will. I just think, looking at all the images from Sunderland social media, being a Sunderland fan, knowing sort of a lot about the club, I think he'll be in that starting 11. I just can't not see it, you know. Welbeck also plays Burnley this week. Yeah, I understand that, but there is still upside to Thiago. I still think Thiago's an amazing pick. If you can bet on Welbeck and you can get him for the double, you probably should do it, is what I would say. Joshua said, is it better to try get Semenyo in the team or Tavernier? Semenyo. I've already got Haaland and Gehi, but only got Senesi for Bournemouth. I think there's more upsides in Semenyo. 100%. Nepo says, completely right. I'll be back next week. Perfect, Nepo. Great to have you in the community, man. Henry says, haven't looked at my team since game week 19. Nice, bro, nice. How are you doing out of interest, by the way? Like, with not just doing anything with your team. Orange says, bro, I want to go Matoma so bad. No, I want to go Matoma. I just don't think he plays much. I think he'd be fine. I think he'd be fine. I'll have a look now, actually. Yes, Henry lad. Should I start Gabriel or Senesi? Gabriel, how many points you get last game week? Last game week feels about 2 months ago, mate, so I really don't know. Honestly, I actually have no clue. I really don't. Make sure you double tap on the screen, by the way, if you are on TikTok. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like the stream as well. Alex says Matoma or Pascal Gross. I'll go Matoma. What team you support? Wait, is that not even coming up? I don't even know if the camera's picking up at Sunderland, mate. Sunderland. What cheap are you playing? What cheap players? Calvert-Lewin's a cheap player. Pretty much the entire bench are cheap players. Zafran says, which two should I start? Thiago, Harry Wilson, Elliot Anderson. It would be Thiago and, honestly, maybe Harry Wilson. You on Wildcard? I am, Bobby, I am. Bowen, Welbeck, or João Pedro? Welbeck. The order will be Welbeck, João Pedro, Bowen. But it depends on chip strategy. Thoughts about Lefebvre this round? He should play left wing, which sometimes he does better at for FPL. He could drift into the middle. It depends what wingers are available for us. I don't think we've got many wingers available, so he should play on that left-hand side. I think he's okay against Spurs at home. I think Spurs will give us a difficult game, though, trying to get sort of back some points. Henry says, oh my, 72 points last week. Had Bruno Weiss. Got me 26 points. That's crazy for not having managed your team from game week 19. Remember that window when you signed Mvia? Why it didn't work out? Mvia, what a throwback, by the way. Was it him who scored the goal against West Ham? Jan Mvia, was it? It might have been. Jan and Villa might have scored in a brilliant goal against West Ham, the one I'm remembering of. Orange says, but why would you risk it over Gomez when there's not a great risk to reward? I mean, Gomez, for me, obviously that yellow card situation is a bit of a worry for some people. I think it's fine, because if Gomez does pick it up, then he will be missing 2 games. So even if he picks it up in the first week of the double, that should help Matoma's minutes. Do you get what I mean? So I think Matoma is a pick anyway. I think his minutes will start to be really good. Not so much this week. I think 75 minutes is pretty on point for Matoma this week. Next week, though, I think he'll play quite a lot. Joshua says, Raya or Kelleher to start. It would be David Raya. Yeah. Why Senesi instead of Struijk this week? Defcons. Will James Justin start for Leeds? Yes, but he won't be wing back. Won't be wing back. What card is that? Or are you not playing any chip? This is Wildcard this week. This is Wildcard. Liam says, bought in Wilson and Igor Jesus this round. What do you think? I think that's really interesting. Obviously, I think in the future for Forest, you'll have to be wary of Chris Wood because I do think they have a bit of an injury crisis up top. But he should be starting in the Premier League, Igor Jesus. Wilson's interesting this week as well against a weak Liverpool side. I don't want to start Wilson because I have Virgil to maximise the possible outcomes. But Poole are, yeah, they are pretty bad. They are pretty bad. Don't sell Bruno, mate. Who are you talking to there? Yeah, Bruno's not the one to sell. Football07 says, POV me watching everyone play Wildcard, and I've already played it in Game Week 23. Yeah, I think it's very relatable. I know a lot of people have used Wildcard already. Have you considered some double fixtures for other teams? Or like Burnley? Not so much. I'll be honest with you, not so much. Thoughts on Welbeck? Good pick. Good pick. I just prefer Calvert-Lewin. Free hit next week? No. Bench boost next week. Free hit 34. Get Brobby in? I would absolutely love to. I love the man. I absolutely love him. Mogs, I want to go with you so bad, but the amount of times I've done it and it's not worked out. Munoz to Kukurea, choosing Salah that one effing week. Hey, that Munoz to Kukurea move, I did it and got loads of points, and you didn't, did you? Hi, Mogs. There was a small fire in my home, and I have lost many treasured memories. Who should I captain? I think you should captain Bruno Fernandes. Sorry about your home, but the priorities are captaincy there, Mark. I was about to full-on dox you there, M-Trem 96. But, yeah, get your captaincy in order and then deal with the house fire. You've got to be ready for this game week. Nothing can hold you back, not even a house fire. Semenyo or Wilson if you don't wildcards. Semenyo. Orange says, if I'm keeping Bruno in 33, would you go Bowen or João Pedro? But I'm confused why Crystal Palace affects you if you have Bowen or João Pedro. This is sort of a rough explanation. I'm saving my transfers for game week 36 when I expect to triple up on Crystal Palace assets. If I don't make a transfer till then, I'll have 4 free transfers with the amount of chips I'm using in the next few weeks. So, in theory, I should keep Jarrod Bowen to keep that amount of transfers available for that opportunity. If I don't, then I'm going to have less Crystal Palace assets for their double game week. So that's kind of the reasoning there. It's Everton and Man City, their double would be. Wilson, Diarra, or Calvert-Lewin? Calvert-Lewin. Diarra's the boyo, though. Have you seen his shaved head? Absolutely crazy. Who's better out of Gross and Minte? Pascal Gross. Should I start Gabriel or Senesi? Gabriela. Mogs said that Statch has a ligament injury. Yes, Statch has a ligament injury. It's not exactly positive quotes we got about Statch. If he features in April, it'll be a bonus. The same was said about Joe Rodon. Why wildcard? To set up for a massive bench boost next week. Will Goodmanson be available? I think so, yes. Out of all the players, I think Goodmanson's the most likely to start out of the knocked and injured players. Matoma won't be getting many minutes. I think he'll get over 75 minutes this week. Welbeck or DCL? DCL. Mogs, thoughts on me thinking Wolves stay up, or am I crazy? You're absolutely mental. You're absolutely... That is not happening. It ain't happening, Chief. West Ham would have to lose every single game. Wolves would have to win every single game. The teams above West Ham would pretty much have to lose most of their games, if not all of them. I think it's just not... I just don't think it's going to happen, Jack. I really don't. Ekatike, Casemiro, or Chow? Casemiro. I don't think Ekatike starts. I really don't. I think it'll be Gakpo or Isak up top. I need to get rid of Timber, but I have but I have O'Reilly, Van Heck, Hill, Gudmundsson. I don't know who to get. You could, in theory, just play Timber, but if you want to get rid of him, you could maximize double game week players. Could you get a second Leeds defender like my team? Could you go second Bournemouth player there if I didn't miss anyone? Start Chow or Munoz. I'd go Munoz just for a little bit of attacking upside there. It's at home as well. Want to get rid because I don't think Timber will start. I see him. I see. Yeah, in that case, I would maybe move him on. Double game week player is probably what you're going to be wanting. What you're going to be wanting, to be honest. Orange says, so going back to my point, if I plan to use one free transfer next week, which could be Bowen to João Pedro, should I have Bowen in my team for this week over him? If you want to save your transfers for later in the season, honestly, just start João Pedro. But I think Bowen is just a really good option this week. Much better than João Pedro in my eyes. Much, much better. Zafran says, I think Spurs/Forest will finish 18th. Wolves will finish 19th. And Burnley will finish 20th. Wow. It's a big call. It's a big call. Especially with Burnley having a game in hand as well. They have a game in hand, don't they? Do they have a game in hand? No, they don't. Who has a game in hand? Oh, yeah. Never mind. I've got that wrong. One thing we can all agree on is Arsenal are bottling this league, and we are here for the hate watch. We are absolutely here for it, especially with no Arsenal assets in the FPL team. Who has a double game week? Right, do you want me to read the fixtures out, or should I just read the teams? What would you prefer? What would you prefer? Just the teams? Leeds, Man City, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Brighton, Burnley, with Leeds probably having the best double, I would say. So yeah, Leeds, Man City, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Brighton, Burnley, just to recap that. Just a quick recap. Matoma minutes risk? Yes, a little bit. Bochi says, or Bochill says, Bowen or João Pedro this week. It depends if you want to save transfers. If you want to save transfers, go João Pedro. I suppose in the same frame of conversation, it's the same with Jarrod Bowen because you can play him in game week 34. But I think João Pedro is decent enough just to play this week and have for the double. But for me this week, I see the upside in Jarrod Bowen, so I'm going to start him and maybe make that transfer next week. It's unlikely, though. I do think. Zafran says, you said Isak would start. I don't think Isak would start. I think Gakpo will start up front. But I can see Isak starting. So should I start Wilson over Ekatike? I wouldn't be playing Ekatike. I would sell him. In all honesty, I would sell him. I've got Roofs and Net. Roofs. I'm glad he's back. I'm very glad he's back. Elborg's been doing good, but I'm very glad he's back. Mario Gomez or Hinchelwood better than Matoma? I think Hinchelwood's probably the closest out of all the Brighton mids to Matoma. Ben says Matoma and Hill or Gross and Senesi. Matoma and Hill. Jack says go Ekatike. Got an early sub. I just don't think Ekatike will start. I can't see it. If you think you'll start, play him. Absolutely play him. What do you think of Minte for Brighton. I think he's probably the highest minutes risk player there. I wouldn't be going for him. Only have 5 double game week players: Sanchez, Senesi, Palmer, Creepy, and DCL. I have 3 transfers. Don't know what to do. Free hit 33, or might use free transfers to try get 8 or 9 players for next week and free hit in 34. I would 3 hit in 34. I can't even say 3. 3 hit. 3 hit 34. Free hit 34. Why have I got a lisp all of a sudden? I put Cunha in my FPL. I like Cunha this week. I do. No, I hate to say it, but I think Arsenal are winning the league. I think they will as well. They'll definitely bottle in Champions League because Bayern look incredible. From quadruple to a single trophy, no winning mentality. If they win the Prem, they can shut everyone up, really, though, can't they? Alderete or Senesi, Alderete. Why is everyone wildcarding this week? It's to set up next week, Tom, for a double game week. A lot of people still have bench boosts like myself, so they'll have 13, 14, 15 double game week players all in 1 week. So it's a really big week next week, and we're kind of setting up for that, if that makes sense. Fair enough. No worries, Tom. Yeah, double game week next week, bro. Orange says, even with 4 free transfers, you need to keep Bowen to save transfers. Yes, potentially, because there's more transfers to that. We could do what week was it? I think it was 35. No, 34. We could do Palmer. No, 35 it was. Palmer to Saka, and then captain Saka that week. Yeah, there's 4 transfers that in theory I will make later down the line, which is why I would keep Bowen next week instead of selling to João Pedro. But selling to João Pedro is something that I haven't made my mind up yet. But like I say, I'd never plan transfers out like this, but I hope you understand. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Is Gordon a good differential this week? Yeah, I think he's fine. What do you think of Minte? I think he's the most minutes risk out of every Brighton mid, sadly. So Ekitike and Buemo, Anderson, Dango to Pedro, DCL, and Semenyo / Palmer. Which players would you sell and buy for double game week? I would... If you think Ekitike starts, go for him. And Buemo's absolutely fine to have this week. Dango is probably a sell. No, not this week, sorry. Anderson's probably a sell. I'm getting that mixed up. Ekitike, I would sell personally. I would sell him and get someone else. You could just wait it out though. Top 3 captains: Bruno first, Bowen second, Haaland third. What the hell did I write? Hope you understand. I do understand, mate. I think selling Ekitike is probably the way I would go about it. But you could theoretically just wait. I don't think it's an urgent transfer. I just don't personally think he'll start. There is definitely a chance for him to start early sub and all, but I just can't see it personally. Hugo says no Gross. No, we've gone Matoma within this wildcard draft. We've gone Matoma. Swap DCL and Gross for Welbeck and Ampadu. Thoughts? I don't really love Ampadu. I think there's more value in Leeds defenders than anything else. I'll not read that name, but start Wilson or Dango Atara. I'd go Dango Atara. Not the most PG friendly name you've got there on TikTok, bro. We're at 6k likes on TikTok, by the way, guys. Let's see within the next 17 minutes till we get to the deadline if we can hit 10k likes. Who is a priority sell to the least priority amongst them? Cash, Mukele, Anderson, Dango, Wilson, Ekitike. I would probably say the most priority sell is Ekitike out of those. Nothing wrong with my name, pal. I think if I said your name out loud, TikTok might think otherwise. Orange Apple says, right, I've got Matoma like I was originally going to do. I'm going to trust what you're saying will make sense. I'm going to go Bowen for now. I'm going to do João Pedro and Semenyo out of those 2 options. Oh, sorry. You were replying to Zafran there. I think Orange, my theory with all of that, saving transfers and going Bowen this week instead of João Pedro, is to be able to go ahead and get Saka in game week 35, I think it is, for captain. Then in game week 36, go ahead and get triple Palace as well as my triple City to combat triple captain of Erling Haaland. There's a lot to go into it, but in theory, I need to save as many transfers as possible. But there could be a world I get João Pedro next week. No Arsenal players. No, we're on Wildcard this week, so we're not going any Arsenal players. Zafran says, so Ekatika and Dango to João Pedro and Palmer, or João Pedro and Semenyo. I'd go Calvert-Lewin and Semenyo, I think. Who's a better transfer this week? Bowen or Matoma says a full stop. Matoma because of the double next week. Should I triple captain Bruno? No, wait for game week 36 when Haaland has a pretty good double game week against Brentford and Palace, both at home. My mind is just so jam-packed of FPL crap. I can just pull fixtures out my arse. It's just ridiculous. Sean says, why is this my exact team? Because you are just amazing at FPL and have the best team in the world, Sean. That's clearly it. Liam says, do I bench Wirtz for Calvert-Lewin? I would not do so. Is he predicted to be on the left, Wirtz, though? Top 3,000, so not wrong. Sean, you're absolutely smashing it, mate. Unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. Wirtz is predicted to start on the left, actually, and Gakpo up front. It could be in the middle, though, and then McAllister gets dropped. Wirtz is fine. Wirtz is fine. Football 7 says start 3. Gabriel, Senesi, Cash, Mukiele, Richards. I would start Gabriel, Mukiele, and would I start Cash? Would I start Cash? Yeah, I'd start Cash. I think he'll play. Yassir's got his team. He's got Dubravka, Gabriel O'Reilly, Virgil van Dijk, Gordon, Bruno, Dango, Enzo Lefebvre, Rodgers, Haaland, Thiago is the final team. Good luck, Yassir, with this game week, bro. Let's go, dude. Let's go. What's the best strategy if you have all chips remaining, says Alvin. Alvin and the Chipmunks, let's go. We've got Wildcard 32, 33 bench boost, 34 free hits, and 36 triple captain. I hope that helps. I really do. Zafran says, actually, I can't afford João Pedro and Semenyo, so I've got DCL and Semenyo, and I don't have to sell the Cameroonian goat and Mbuemo. That's the route I was saying, Zafran. Yeah, I would keep Mbuemo, absolutely. You should play number 9. Zafran says, cheers, Mugs and Orange. Sorry for making a fuss. Not a problem, Zafran. This is why we're here. This is why I stream, to help everyone as I possibly can. I've just lost that comment that I was going to read out. Oh, for God's sake, TikTok just goes way too fast sometimes. If you're on TikTok, by the way, make sure you double tap in the screen. We've got about 12 minutes till the deadline now, everybody. So get these questions in, get your team locks. Let's see if we can get 10k likes before the stream ends. Well, the deadline hits, we'll say. Hi, mate. Do you think Somerville will start? I think he will actually start, yeah. We didn't get very many positive quotes in the presser. In fact, I can read them out if I can find bloody West Ham. They're always at the bottom of the screen. So when asked about Somerville, Tobido, and Wilson, we are positive. We are positive that they can be available. So that's how I'd go about that. Should I bench Mbuemo and Calvert-Lewin over Thiago? I'd play Mbuemo definitely this week. Thiago's also a really good option this week. If anyone was to be benched, it would be Calvert-Lewin. Nepo says, super last minute question, unlimited budget, who's the best defender for 32 and 34 apart from Gabriel? Saliba. Possibly even Virgil van Dijk, but I know a lot of people will not like that answer. Maybe even a Mukiele. And it's not even crazy to say it, in my opinion. What's your thoughts on Elliot Anderson? I don't think he's that bad, but he's not someone I'd be focusing in on too much. Pissed off. I used my free hit. Can't even maximize wildcard now. Have to. I've lost that comment. To have all double game week. I got what you mean, Amvilla. I get what you mean. That is frustrating, but you can manage it, bro. You can manage it. 11 minutes to the deadline. 11 minutes to the deadline. Saffron said, but then I can't sell Rodon to anyone. Should I take a hit to maximize bench boost or keep Rodon for 0 points? Well, you can just wait for next week to make that decision, of course, but you could take a -4 because it is a double game week. There is more likelihood of you taking hits. Why Matoma? I think he's a good pick. I think the ceiling's quite high, especially with this game week being good and the double next week. Do I risk B-all on my wildcard or go for another Leeds defender? Says M88HY. I would go with Goodmanson or Stroik. Pascal Stroke, whatever you want to pronounce it as. He said it different all the time. Right, Orange Apple's got his final team, which is Verbruggen, O'Reilly, Senesi, Stroik, Palmer, Bruno Captain, Matoma, Semenyo, Bowen, Haaland, Welbeck, Sanchez, Hill, Tavernier, Bijol. It is a good team. It is a really good team. Saffron says I have 0.5 if I have to upgrade him. Oh, that's fine then. That's fine. Nepo says, just got a crazy idea. Sell Hill for Saliba to bench Timber. Thoughts? I think it's pretty sideways. I would just play Timber. If you're really, really not feeling Timber, though, that is not a bad move. Saliba should start. Saliba over Man United and Everton defenders. I think Diego Dalot. Honestly, if you've got Diego Dalot, I think you've got Diego Dalot. I would maybe play him over Timber if you're really, really not feeling Timber. Tarkovsky or Senesi. Tarkovsky. This week is why I'm answering that, but across doubles, it would of course be Senesi. I've got no wildcard left and only 3 players for the double. 3 hit in 33 or 34. 34 if your team looks absolutely pants. If not, then 33 is probably the way to go. Why Gumminson over Bijol? He's got the same arrow. What do you mean? Oh, I think Gumminson for me just feels better going forward. I think he's really attacking. I like it. Timber status. We really don't know too much more. Arteta has been very cryptic, as always. Pardon me. Got hiccups or something. Bench Munoz or Shaw. I'd bench Shaw and go for the upside of Munoz. Being at home. But I don't mind Malik Chow. What about Justin? Justin should play within the back 3 rather than anywhere else. So I would personally go Gudmundsson. Zafran said I would personally get Van Heck over Hill or Biol and Stroik. Yeah. Oh, you could 3 batting players. I get what you mean. You can't have 4. I mean, would I have 4 if I had the choice? Probably not. I have no wildcard. Should I free hit next week? If you can survive blank game week 34 with your current team now, yes. If not, save it for 34. Should I start Bowen and Somerville? Yeah. It's a great fixture. If you've got them both, you should be starting them. Absolutely. Lewis Potter or Tarkovsky? I would... Is he predicted to start? The thing is, Lewis Potter, we never know if he's going to start or if he's going to be left back. Because he sometimes plays on the wing, doesn't he? He's predicted to start left back, actually. Would I start him against Everton at home? Yeah, I think I would. I think it's an okay pick. Tarkovsky feels okay for Defcom. If you want to safe opt-in, I would go Tarkovsky. Long time no see, Goat. Shout out Jamie, man. Welcome. Wouldn't do Bowen. Wolves are going to win 5-0. Oh, dear. Game's gone. Nah, no doubt, but I can bring him in. I wouldn't bring him in. Virgil's not bad. Nepo either. Why are we laughing? What do you mean? What do you mean by it? Orange Apple has said that the Premier predicts Minte to start over Matoma, and he's picked Matoma as well. Shit. I'm sticking with Matoma. I'm sticking with him. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Gumminson is looking pretty shite. Sorry, mate. Fair enough. I'm still going to pick him. Justin or Strike? Strike. Njai and Calvert-Lewin, who is better? Calvert-Lewin because of the double next week, but Njai's not too bad. He should be back this week. No Gabriel or Danny Welbeck. This week, if you have Gabriel, you should probably play him. Danny Welbeck is very good, though, so I would be playing him as well. If you can bench someone else, I'd do that. But there is upside to Danny Welbeck and a higher ceiling, in my opinion. Isn't Gehi more likely to start both games than O'Reilly? I would say no, with Ruben Diaz coming back. Guardiola's quite far away as well, isn't he? No, I think O'Reilly's got a lot of minutes under his belt. Maybe there's a rest in there for Gehi because he played a lot of games. So is O'Reilly, though. So, yeah, I think those two are the most solid defensive options. O'Reilly, for me, just has that attacking output and is much better. Ruben is injured. I thought he'd be back this month, no? Let's have a look. No, it's just Ruben Diaz is not ready for Sunday. Not ready for Sunday. One about like minutes for Gehi not picking Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz. I'm gonna go bold. Not gonna lie, I gave up on fantasy. It's fair enough. It's not for everyone, mate. So it's a big commitment for 38 game weeks, you know. Langa Ball says worth doing a -4 Verts to Semenyo this week. I would wait till next week just to get the transfer and then do it in a double game week. Would we lose our free transfers when we free hit, or am I tripping? We do not lose any free transfers in any chip. We just carry them over. We don't gain... No, we'll say that differently. We'll gain a free transfer and a bench boost week, but not any other week. Haaland could go big against Chelsea. They're letting in goals. I agree. I've got them third on my captaincy list still, though. I'll start Wilson over Freud TK. Let's go. Is Matoma guaranteed minutes? No. It's not. It's a risky pick, but I think he starts. I think he has good minutes as well. Would you pick Strike over Justin? Yes. Or why would you, sorry? I just think he's better as a pick. Defensive contributions, attacking threat from corners. I think he's just a little bit better. Orange said I'll swap back to Gomez Mogs. I don't know what to do. You've got 3 minutes to decide, buddy. 3 minutes. Nah, Matoma's minutes are cooked. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Is this your wild card? It is, Jack. It is. 3 minutes till the FPL deadline. Oh my god. Bijol has better form than Strike and is cheaper. Go for Bijol then. Go for him. I think Strike's better. If West Ham wins today, Tottenham is in the relegation. I am so scared. I'm not. West Ham, I hope win. I hope they do. I want to go Matoma. Maybe even Hinchelwood, says Zafran. What about Gross? My order of Brighton mids would be Matoma, Hinchelwood, Gross. Then everyone else. Not too bothered about them. Right, 2 minutes till the FPL deadline. Haaland or Ekitike, someone says. Haaland, definitely. I hope Haaland doesn't cook. I hope he does, Mac, I'm afraid. Is Welbeck a good pick? Yes. Bournemouth Arsenal predictions. I think it will be 2-1 Arsenal. Sorry if that's boring, but I just don't think Arsenal are going to drop points. Hate to let you down. Oh, my nose is so itchy. Why are you backing Matoma when he's been out for a while? Great fixture. Double next week. I'm really happy with him. Hinchelwood plays 10, doesn't he? He does, but he plays it sort of off the right a little bit in a way. Just with how Danny Welbeck falls back a little bit. If you look at the heat map, you will see it a little bit as well. iShow Speed has better stats at Wembley than Bukayo Saka. Just shows you how good Saka is at the moment. Orange said he's gone back to Matoma. Mate, don't blame me if this goes wrong, but I don't know. I'm feeling Matoma still, mate. Is this the best team if I have all my chips remaining? This is, in my opinion, the best wildcard team for my strategy. If it works with your strategy as well, That's up to you. I don't know. Bowen out injured. Wilson is starting. Bro, what? I don't think so. To be fair, I should probably look for leaks with a minute to go to the bloody deadline. I haven't done that. Yikes. Let's see if I've got any leaks here. I don't think we do. Yeah, we don't have any leaks. No leaks. Okay, that's fine. Last 30 seconds or so. We'll make sure we refresh the team. It's saved. Bruno captain. Bowen vice captain. We are ready to go for the game week. Don't say that. I'm only teasing you, Orange. You know that. Mogs promised to me Matoma starts. I can't promise that. I am not Fabian Hertzler. But if I was, I would start Matoma. Calvert-Lewin or Wilson? Calvert-Lewin. Nah, it would be Wilson. It would be Wilson. I think with the penalties, but if Jimenez is out. DCL is such a fraud. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I quite like him. Zafran says Kevin over Matoma. Please tell me you've done your research on Matoma. I actually just don't even know who Matoma is, actually. That's why I've picked him. Of course I have. Harry Wilson is a good shout. I agree. I don't think he's bad at all. Not too bad, lads. And that's the deadline gone. Deadline's gone. That wasn't as stressful as I thought it was going to be. I didn't make any changes. Mogs, if you ever step foot in West London, you will be neutralised. Great. Great. Rank is 293k. I think that says username 1. Well, hopefully it's around, if not in the 100k mark after these 3 chips in the next 3 weeks. Next week's the real gainer. Next week, hopefully we can gain 60 points on people who aren't bench boosting like crazy. Fingers crossed. Bro, I wish I went Virgil van Dijk over Saliba. I don't know. I took a risk to start Cherky. Ooh, I'm not as keen, you know. I'm not as keen. I missed the deadline. How many points have I got? For game week 32, currently I'm on 0 points. I'm joking. I don't know the total points, Johnny. I really don't. I don't normally go off that. I go off rank. And we're 293k right now. Shout out George with a sleigh. And the mush so love. Yes, Georgie boy. Oh, that's funny. By the way, George, no one asked about you at work, so you sound good rank. It's all right, Johnny. It's just okay. Matoma ain't starting, dog. Who did you go for, Orange Apple? Who did you go for? Did you go Gomez or not? Bro went Gomez. I can already tell he went Gomez. You're going to be banned if you went Gomez. You're banned. Out of 30 million people, it's a good rank. Yeah, but I don't know. I'd like to be higher up. Mogs, you have an awful track record with picks like this. No, I don't. Not at all. I have a good track record. No, I've gone Matoma because I'm an absolute unit. Or proper unit, you said. Should have been absolute, mate. Because I'm an absolute unit. You're a proper unit. Why Senesi over Strike? Defensive contributions. Senesi is more likely to hit them. I triple captained on Maguire. Nice. Big slabhead. Bash. He isn't playing, so hopefully you've got a good vice captain, but I like the enthusiasm, Kyle. Alex Beatty says, should I play Cunha or Ekatike? It would have been Cunha, but the deadline has passed. I went Hinchelwood. Nice. Second favourite Brighton midfielder this week. Watkins, question mark. Not for me. Mac's laughing. Let's go, Mac. Michael said, I panic and bought Njai. Free hit in 33, and he has West Ham in 34. Solid choice or not? Yeah, solid. Absolutely solid. Orange Apple says, see, you're an absolute unit because you just strand McDonald's, and I'm a proper unit because I don't care about nothing. Brilliant. That is the quote of the year by you, mate. I don't scram McDonald's. I don't. So he won't be in my team for 33. Oh, that's fine, Michael. That's fine. You're going to have double game week players, you know? Finley says, I forgot about the deadline. I made a TikTok to tell you all that there was a deadline today. You need to be following. You need to have notifications on. You need to do all sorts to make sure you're in check. I just put it in my calendar, if I'm being honest with you. But, you know. Am I cooked, says William. I have no chips left. 3 transfers saved for for 34. So we'll have 5. You'll be fine. You'll be fine, bro. We'll see what happens when it comes around to it, but you got to be positive. Oh, hiccups again. Great. Senesi over Stripe because Mogs believes that Bruno will get 3 goals and assists, and also Mbuemo. Not also Mbuemo. He can go away. Lillard says I'm 4 minutes late. Unfortunately, you are. Unfortunately, you are. Oh, I need to make me team. That's my team, Bartiago over DCL. It's a good team, then. It's a very good team. Oh, my nose is so itchy. Harry Wilson, double-digit haul trust. I don't think he'll get double digits, but I think he can definitely get an attack and return this week. 100%. Why Goodmanson, the right Leeds defender, choose? I think attack and wise, he's brilliant, and he should be back fully fit for at least the double game week. I messed up. I missed that I already used free hits. Ripped my game week 34. Oh, bro. Matoma, or I thought you said Naby Keita. I hope he starts. Yeah, I hope Naby Keita starts. I really do. Bowen Vice. Do I need to write Bowen Vice? Probably not. Naby Keita. What a throwback that is, by the way. Wonder what he's doing now. What is Naby Keita doing right now? Gibbs White over Matoma. It doesn't have a double next week, though. That's all I'm caring about at the moment. I'll be really honest with you. Are you switching Bowen to Pedro next week? It's up in the air, but probably not. I think I'm going to save my transfers for game week 36. Forgot to press the wildcard button just at a minus 48. Let's hope my players return to save my game week. Imagine that actually happened, though. I do have nightmares about that. That sounds really, really sad. I don't have nightmares about that, but it is a worry all the time when you play wildcard, isn't it? Mukele or O'Reilly, it would be, honestly, probably Mukele this week. Good. Right. Hold on. Right, that's it for today. Yeah, I'm gonna head off because my sister is currently waiting outside the door to be let in the house. What brilliant timing that is. If you are on TikTok, head over to the YouTube and give a subscribe if I've helped you this stream. Drop a follow on TikTok at least. I greatly appreciate it. I will see you next Monday, most likely, with another video for my massive bench boost in game week 33. Fantastic to have you all here. Head over to YouTube, drop a subscribe, follow the page. Love you all. Have a brilliant game week. I will see you all on Monday. See you later, everyone on YouTube. Big shout out to Orange. Big shout out to Zafran. All of you, man. Amazing this week. Jack as well. Can't forget to mention Connor. New viewer Nepo as well. Welcome to the channel. Been a great stream. I'll see you all on Monday. Good luck, everyone.